Luka Doncic's highly anticipated debut with the Los Angeles Lakers is potentially just around the corner. This Saturday, to be precise. Head coach J.J. Redick dropped the exciting news on Wednesday, sparking a frenzy among Lakers faithful eagerly awaiting to see the Slovenian sensation in purple and gold. Doncic participated in his inaugural practice with the team after a headline-grabbing trade that sent shockwaves through the league, bringing him from the Dallas Mavericks to Los Angeles last weekend. Doncic has been sidelined since Christmas Day, nursing a left calf strain. His last game action was, of course, with his former Maverick squad. The wait has been agonizing for fans eager to see the Doncic-LeBron James pairing. While he'll be forced to watch Thursday's high-profile clash against the Golden State Warriors from the bench, a wave of optimism surrounds the possibility of his return either against the Indiana Pacers this Saturday, or, if caution prevails, against the Utah Jazz on Monday. The medical staff is being extra careful to ensure a full recovery. Redick addressed the media, stating, "We're operating on a day-to-day basis. The overarching hope is to have him back in the lineup within the next handful of games." He completed a positive non-contact practice today, logging a solid 45 minutes of work. The plan is to conduct a stay-ready session for him within the next couple of days to steadily increase his live basketball conditioning and readiness. After assessing his progress in those sessions, we'll make a definitive decision for Saturday. If it's deemed too early for Saturday's game, the next target will undoubtedly be Monday. The buzz surrounding Doncic's potential on-court return is nothing short of electric. The magnitude of the situation hasn't been lost on the NBA's broadcast partners. ESPN acted swiftly, announcing that it would be shifting its programming to televise the Pacers-Lakers game this Saturday evening, effectively bumping the originally slated Jazz-Suns contest from the national spotlight. The Doncic effect is already in full force. Doncic, donning Lakers gear, observed the game from the sidelines at the Intuit Dome during Tuesday night's impressive and decisive 122-97 victory over their crosstown rivals, the Los Angeles Clippers. A game where LeBron James once again demonstrated his ageless brilliance, leading the Lakers to their 9th win in their last 11 games. The Lakers are clearly hitting their stride at the right time. James, still adjusting to the recent and somewhat emotional trade of close friend and former teammate Anthony Davis, who landed in New Orleans, has openly expressed his enthusiasm for finally pairing up with Doncic on the court. James has gone on record, even before the trade, to call Doncic his favorite player currently in the league, lauding his incredible court vision and overall basketball acumen. During his very first practice with the Lakers, Doncic didn't hold back, immediately jumping into the thick of things with 5-on-5 drills. He capped off the session with an extended conversation alongside Redick, James, respected assistant coach Scott Brooks, and a very familiar face, Dorian Finney-Smith. Finney-Smith, who shared the court with Doncic for 4.5 seasons in Dallas, arrived in Los Angeles shortly after Christmas as part of a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. The pre-existing chemistry could prove invaluable. Finney-Smith didn't mince words, stating, "Look, I'm not particularly thrilled with how the situation unfolded back in Dallas. I firmly believe he deserved the contract he was seeking, but I'm undeniably happy to have him as a teammate once again, now wearing the purple and gold." He also directly addressed some of the persistent, and often unfair, chatter surrounding Doncic's physical condition and weight, emphatically dismissing any concerns. "I know Luka. I played alongside him for years. That guy wants to be on the court every single minute he possibly can. He was practically logging 40 minutes a game during last year's intense playoff run. The simple truth is, Luka wants to be out there. So, I don't put any stock in the outside noise, the rumors, or the armchair criticism. I'm focused on what he produces out there on the court. And let's be honest, if I was putting up those astronomical numbers, I'd argue that maybe I should weigh 270 pounds. It's about production, plain and simple." As Doncic nears his return to the court, Redick expressed unyielding confidence that he will seamlessly integrate into the Lakers system alongside James, making a significant impact on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Redick elaborated, "The primary hurdle at this point is simply the language barrier, in terms of specific terminology and play calls. But let's be clear, Luka's basketball IQ is off the charts. He possesses an elite understanding of the game. We're actively implementing many of the offensive concepts that he successfully utilized during his time in Dallas, strategies that many teams across the league are currently employing. We certainly aren't attempting to reinvent the wheel here. Our primary focus is on playing smart, aggressive, and highly efficient offensive basketball. And when you integrate a player of Luka's caliber, a walking basketball supercomputer who can anticipate every play, recognize every defensive coverage, and react accordingly, well, that undeniably elevates our team to an entirely new level. After all the calculated maneuvering we've seen from Rob Pelinka and the entire Lakers front office leading up to the trade deadline, one thing is abundantly clear. They've carved out some significant open spots on that roster. And the million-dollar question everyone's asking is, who's going to fill those voids? Well, the answer to at least one of those holes might just be a familiar face, a player who's already worn the purple and gold with pride. Think about the landscape. The Lakers managed to reel in some massive acquisitions. Luka Doncic, a bona fide superstar, is finally here. Mark Williams, a promising big man, adds some needed size. And the reliable Dorian Finney-Smith brings versatility and veteran savvy. But, as always, to make room for these key additions, the Lakers had to make some tough choices and bid farewell to valuable contributors. Anthony Davis, a longtime Lakers player, Max Christie, the homegrown talent, Cam Reddish, with his tantalizing potential, and the promising rookie, Dalton Connect, are all heading to new teams and new opportunities. It's the circle of NBA life, folks. Now, let's talk about the financial implications. All these moves have undeniably created some much-needed breathing room under that ever-looming salary cap. That newfound flexibility gives the Lakers the enviable position of being able to potentially snag a bargain player off the buyout market this season, providing an immediate boost to the team's championship aspirations. Alternatively, they could use that cap space to make a major splash with some blockbuster free agent signings come the offseason, setting themselves up for long-term success. But let's not kid ourselves. Looking at the caliber of players they're actively pursuing and bringing in, this Lakers squad isn't focused on some distant future. They want to compete for a championship right now, and they're making moves with that singular goal in mind. Alright, buckle up, because here's where things get really interesting and potentially nostalgic for some Lakers fans. Dennis Schroeder. Ring any bells? He's already logged 2 separate stints with the Los Angeles Lakers, and whispers around the league suggest that he could very well be a prime candidate for a contract buyout in the coming weeks. Could we be seeing a third act for Schroeder in LA? This guy's career has been nothing short of a whirlwind recently. Talk about a roller coaster. Just in this trade window alone, he's been traded twice. First, he was shipped from the Brooklyn Nets to the always contending Golden State Warriors. Then, just when he was starting to settle in, boom, he's rerouted to the Utah Jazz as a seemingly incidental piece in that blockbuster, franchise-altering Jimmy Butler megadeal that sent shockwaves through the league. But the strong buzz circulating among NBA insiders and analysts is that the Utah Jazz, who are clearly in rebuilding mode, are likely to cut Schroeder loose in the very near future, effectively making him an unrestricted free agent, free to sign with any team he chooses. Now, let's not forget, Schroeder's shown some real development and improvement in his game since his last tenure with the Lakers. He's become a more consistent shooter, a more confident playmaker, and a more tenacious defender. A Schroeder reunion could perfectly address those roster needs and provide some stability, plus fill those vacancies left by the departures of Max Christie and the versatile Dalton Connect. We're talking about a dynamic guard who not only possesses the ability to create his own shot and attack the basket with authority, but also isn't afraid to mix it up inside, providing some much-needed scrappiness and paint protection on the defensive end. The latest reports suggest that the Lakers are probably going to remain relatively quiet on the trade front for the remainder of the deadline period. However, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're keeping an extremely close eye on all those potential buyout candidates who might become available in the coming days and weeks. And if I had to wager a guess, I'd say that Dennis Schroeder's name is sitting right near the very top of that Lakers wish list. A reunion could be just what this team needs to make a serious championship push. We're diving deep into this massive trade that just went down, sending shockwaves through the NBA. It looks like the Lakers are dead serious about putting a championship-caliber team around Luka Doncic, because they just pulled the trigger on a blockbuster deal to acquire a new anchor in the middle. That's right, folks. The Los Angeles Lakers have officially acquired center Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for a package of players and draft picks. According to the ever-reliable Shams Charania of ESPN, the Lakers are sending Dalton Connect, the promising young wing, Cam Reddish, with his tantalizing flashes of potential, a coveted 2031 first-round pick, that's a long way off, but still valuable, and a 2030 pick swapped to the Hornets in exchange for the services of the 23-year-old Williams. Now, what makes this particular move so incredibly intriguing is the context surrounding it. It comes just days after Lakers Vice President of Basketball Operations, Rob Pelinka, publicly stated that the organization wasn't planning on making any major or significant deals leading up to the trade deadline. Talk about a curveball. So much for those carefully crafted words, eh? Clearly, something changed, and the Lakers saw an opportunity they couldn't afford to pass up. Let's get to the heart of the matter. What's driving this move? Well, according to ESPN's resident Lakers insider, Dave McMenamin, the primary motivation behind the significant trade was to directly address and fulfill a specific request coming straight from the Lakers' franchise cornerstone, Luka Doncic himself. Doncic has reportedly expressed a strong desire for a dominant center who can serve as a reliable and consistent target for those electrifying, highlight reel alley-oop passes that have become a staple of his game. And, by all accounts, Mark Williams, who's still just 23 years of age, appears to be an almost perfect fit for that particular role. Standing at a towering 7 foot, with a phenomenal wingspan and impressive athleticism, Williams possesses the raw physical tools and the developing skill set to become a force in the paint for years to come. He's currently putting up very solid numbers, averaging around 16 points, pulling down nearly 10 rebounds, and swatting away more than 1 shot per game, all while shooting a highly efficient clip of close to 60% from the field. Plus, he's significantly younger than Dalton Knecht, whom the Lakers had high hopes for, so the organization is clearly banking on Williams having the potential to grow and develop alongside Doncic for many years to come, forming a dynamic duo that can lead the Lakers back to championship contention. But wait, the connections don't stop there. There's an intriguing backstory involving Lakers' newly appointed head coach, J.J. Redick, and Mark Williams. They actually go way back to their time together at Duke University, where Redick, a Duke legend himself, served as a mentor and advisor to Williams before embarking on his coaching career with the Lakers. That pre-existing familiarity and established relationship should undoubtedly help Williams get acclimated to the Lakers system and team culture much quicker than your average newcomer, providing an added layer of comfort and trust. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. While there's a ton of excitement surrounding Williams' potential arrival in Los Angeles, there's also no denying that he's dealt with some frustrating injury issues during the early stages of his NBA career. He only managed to suit up for a limited number of games during his first 2 seasons in Charlotte and was forced to miss a significant chunk of the most recent season due to various medical ailments. But the Lakers' medical staff has reportedly done their due diligence and are optimistic, because none of those injuries required surgery. Let's be completely transparent here, this trade was not cheap by any means. The Lakers had to part ways with 2 promising young talents in Knecht and Reddish, in addition to surrendering some extremely valuable draft assets that could have been used in future trades or to select potential franchise cornerstones down the road. In essence, the Lakers are making a significant and very public bet on Mark Williams, sacrificing some of their future flexibility for the chance to contend for a championship right now. The silver lining, of course, is that they get a legitimate, starting-caliber center who can provide much-needed rim protection and interior scoring, filling a glaring need that has been amplified by Anthony Davis's recent absence due to injury. Meanwhile, the Charlotte Hornets, who are clearly in the midst of a long-term rebuilding project, receive a collection of intriguing young players and coveted draft capital that will help them restock their talent pool and build for the future. The good news for the Lakers is that, as a result of this trade, they now have an open and available roster spot. This gives them the flexibility to explore the NBA's always intriguing buyout market in the coming weeks, where they could potentially add another experienced veteran to the mix to further bolster their roster for a deep playoff run. The Lakers' front office seems to have a clear vision for what they want this team to be, so they can be targeted and strategic in their approach, targeting players who can fill a specific role and complement the existing core. So, at the end of the day, what's the final verdict on this blockbuster trade? The Lakers are sending a clear message to the rest of the league that they are all in on surrounding Luka Doncic with the right pieces to compete for championships. Mark Williams checks off a lot of the boxes: rim protection, athleticism, a reliable lob target, and long-term potential. The big question that will linger in the minds of Lakers fans is, was the price tag ultimately too steep? Only time will tell if this bold move will pay off and propel the Lakers back to the top of the NBA mountain. But one thing is for certain, it's going to be a wild and fascinating ride.